The Evergreen Media Network Studio, powered by Scott Tree Services.
This is Martha Matters. From real estate, healthcare, current events, taxes, or just about any topic, we're talking about it. Call us with any questions on just about any subject. Now, here she is, Martha!
Well, hi there, and welcome everyone. This is going to be a very interesting season, to say the least, certainly as far as weather is concerned. For those on the east coast of Florida, I have some very good news, but in general, there are other factors that doesn't mean all of Florida is out of the woods, but it looks better for Florida, let's say, than it does the mid-Atlantic or the northeast, east coast. I'll get right into it. Number one, the Bermuda High, which is a major steering current, is well out in the Atlantic. When I say well out, I mean east of Bermuda, which is really the mid-Atlantic region if you were a ship going across. It's at the moment it's about it's a bit south of Bermuda, but not by a lot. It's the equivalent of well east, let's say, of South and North Carolina. A little below Bermuda and east of Bermuda, but well out to sea. Let's hope it stays that way, because remember, this is just the end of April and beginning of May, so it can still wobble further east or come a little west, which we don't want. Now, think of that Bermuda High as a clock, like an alarm clock. Clockwise is the circulation, so anything coming from the east will wrap around it and up toward the 12 o'clock location and go straight north. That's great for the east coast of the United States. But what is bad is there are a lot. When I say a lot, maybe more than in the last 20, 30 years, hurricanes to be formed off the coast of Africa, and that is because the Atlantic Ocean right now, as we're talking, is very hot at the surface temperature. You're talking 70 to 80 degrees and higher in spots, which is very unusual for this time of the year. Maybe by the end of August, September, it approaches that, but we have that level of heat on the ocean surface right now.
And why does that matter, Martha?
Well, it matters because it gives the hurricanes energy to develop from a tropical storm to a 1, 2, or Category 3.
Okay, so the hurricanes need the warm water to
develop
their energy too.
Yeah, to develop their energy.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now, the good part of that, if you call it good, because I just gave you some troubles here, with so many hurricanes coming off the coast of Africa and staying together, not disintegrating. The good part is that the ocean really gets turned around. Even if they go north, never make it to the United States. So all of a sudden, by August or September of this year, the ocean will be unseasonably cool because of the turn-up of about 20 hurricanes going by, which we haven't had, like I said, in ages.
And so that's going to help it cool down, so hopefully the new hurricanes won't form. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
Now, the Weather Channel wouldn't stick their neck out and say that, but I say that's going to happen.
Okay, so you're sticking your neck out, Martha.
Yeah, I'm
saying-
sticking my neck
Okay.
out if you take a look.
Okay.
The negative of that is while so many go to the north, that they call the hurricane graveyard toward the Arctic,
Okay.
the negative part of that, which doesn't concern us, but it does concern us globally, is a few of them may veer toward the east, in which case Portugal, part of Spain, eastern shore of France, and certainly England and even the Netherlands are going to get several graveyard squalls and heavy rain from these so many hurricanes dissipating. So they should be more prepared than usual because they normally consider themselves out of the hurricane zones. But with 20 of them going to the north and 1 or 2 of them, depending on local high and low pressures, may veer toward the east and affect those countries I just mentioned. And I'm sorry for that. I'm not saying it absolutely will happen in that case, but out of 20 hurricanes, you just know the law of averages. 1 or 2 of them is going to veer to the east,
Yeah.
just like 1 or 2 of them may veer toward the west, well above the Bermuda High. And so we have Greenland, Iceland, and northern New England that needs to watch out. It doesn't say you're going to get a major hurricane, but it's in the path, I should say, for some of these to deviate that way. Now, also, escaping the Bermuda High, a couple of the hurricanes are going to come off the African coast and veer south, like we had last year. But they are such that even Aruba, which normally doesn't get any hurricanes, will get the outer bands of a couple of hurricanes because they're going so far south. But they will be going straight into Mexico, and if they make it to the Gulf, instead of the west coast of Florida and the Panhandle and all those places being a nervous wreck, it's going to veer more toward the west. So again, we're talking northern Mexico, and unfortunately, we're talking about the coast of Texas may well be involved. And that's if they make it into the Gulf. Now, last year, it was beautiful. Hardly anything came in the Gulf, and all the coastal areas could continue recuperating and do a lot of business, tourist business last year because of the lack of hurricanes. Well, the same is going to happen this year for them, which is good because they've been battered with a lot in recent years.
Yeah, they have.
But I find it very, very interesting if any make it into the Gulf, the real issue is the cold fronts coming across the country. And even now, those cold fronts don't have long tails, so to speak, into the Gulf. They sort of like get cut off in Oklahoma, southern Georgia. They affect the mid-Atlantic like they're doing now, and the North Atlantic shores of the United States, but they're not hitting the peninsula of Florida or even much of the panhandle of Florida. A little bit, those that made it to Georgia will have a few stray showers in the Florida panhandle, but nothing on the big peninsula.
So, Martha, at the beginning of the show, you were talking about where the steering currents, was it the Bermuda High that you said that was actually, but you weren't sure where it was going to land. So right now it's still mobile, and you're saying all these predictions are based on where it is right now. Do we have a time frame or whatever?
Yes.
When we think that that's going to be stable, where it's going to stay for the season?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like it's going to stay here, but the reason I say I need to come on again at the end of May and confirm, by that time it usually stays put for the whole season.
Okay.
Where it is now is good. It's not going to do a lot more traveling, but if it wobbles a little to the east or a little to the west, it will make a difference.
Yeah. And does it have to move that much to make a big difference, or how does that work?
Well, about 200 miles either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, in addition to that, right now we still have El Nino like we did last year, which is wonderful. But by mid to late August, that is definitely collapsing, and we're going to have what they call a La Nina. Now, the El Nino that we have right now brings, like it did last year, loads of Sahara dust to the Caribbean and to the southern United States, which was great. Any little hurricane that forms during the month of June or July that may even pop up on the east coast of Florida off of one of those low pressures, the Sahara dust completely blew it apart from east to west and disintegrated. We will have some of that right now in June and July. But the bad news is it's going to be gone by August and September, which is when we get the majority of hurricanes off the coast of Africa. The only good thing, since we don't have the Sahara dust at that time, like I mentioned, is the fact that there'll be so many hurricanes going north around that Bermuda High into the graveyard up by the Arctic. The actual ocean is going to be churned up so much that we're not going to get Category 3, 4, and 5 hurricanes because the ocean will not be hot like it is now. That's part of the good news, which they don't want to tell you about, but it is going to happen when you have that many hurricanes. The negative part is anything that is shipping is going to be a rough season. The major boats, the container ships, it's going to be rough. We're going to, I'd say, cargo planes flying north over the, I'd say basically the very North Atlantic, not as far as the Arctic, but North Atlantic might do better. Or if they fly very far south, like off the coast of South America over to Africa and then up, they may be fine by plane, but the ocean is going to be a torn up mess all summer long for shipping purposes. And I'd say by July, don't plan on taking transatlantic cruises. You'll probably be a nervous wreck the whole time.
Yeah. So you mentioned so many hurricanes that are going to start brewing this year. Do you think it's going to be like that year a couple of years ago when we ran out of names for them? When we were going into Delta and all these other, what did we use, Greek names? I mean, we were out of names.
That's right. We will have that problem this year.
You think so too this year? Okay.
I would be surprised if we didn't, only because the ocean is so hot now.
Yeah.
Literally, in the mid-Atlantic, don't dive too deep or anything, but in the mid-Atlantic, if you floated across the top and fell off a boat into a lifeboat, you're going to be very comfortable on the surface. You're not going to get problems from the cold, like muscle cramps and everything else.
Yeah.
But forget about trying to swim in the Atlantic.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's going to be pretty volatile out there with the waves and everything. That's a good point that you made about the container ships and the things that people were ordering.
Yeah.
Don't we order that every day?
Yeah.
We order stuff every day, yeah.
That's going to, I'd say, more than oil and other things, that's going to be a problem to really consider. Now, also, a stray one, that if the Bermuda High brings it up east of Bermuda, and it may not hit the United States, it may go straight north, but if there is a blocking cold front like we have now, the Northeast right now is getting a lot of rain and cooler air from this cold front. If we had the same thing in the summer, that's going to block the hurricane from going north. And guess what? It's going to go straight west into the mid-Atlantic. So I don't feel good about that. And anywhere from the Carolinas north. So please, folks, stay with us. I have a lot more to tell you. But for Florida, it looks better like it did last summer. We're still recovering from Ian, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So stay with us. We'll be back with more information in a couple of minutes. I want to introduce you to our main sponsor, Highland Plaza, located on US 1 on the east side of the Highland Drive traffic light. We even have our own left-hand turn lane. One of the places in there, the first one on the north side, is Easy Stop, and you will be surprised what competitive and beautiful prices they have. You should give it a shot. Also, Tony's Hairstyling Salon is ideal for the entire family at all ages. He and his wife have run a salon there for years with a huge following. Also, we want to tell you about La Taberna Restaurant. It has the freshest Mexican food in town and a well-experienced chef. You will be most surprised not only by the food, but the reasonable prices. Also, I want to tell you about the nail salon. It's Luxury Nails. Let me tell you, they do everything, both for walk-in clients and appointments. Appointments are really appreciated, but they treat all clients professionally. Now, I want to repeat to you, this is located on US 1, just east of Highland Drive at the traffic light. It's a beautiful yellow building with a maroon awning. We look forward to seeing you there. Come on over.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
They're coming! The Blue Angels will roar over the skies of Vero at the Vero Beach Air Show, presented by Piper Aircraft Inc. See, hear, and feel the power of the Blue Angels, the MiG-17, the A-10 Warthog, and the Fat Albert. Experience the heat of the 2,000-foot-long wall of fire, with flames as high as 40 feet. And don't miss the fireworks extravaganza on Friday night, the Vero Beach Air Show, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, presented by Piper Aircraft Inc. Get tickets online at VeroAirShow.com.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs, all in the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Pollywood. We specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Right now, we're having a spring sale with lots of great markdowns and discounts on everything you need for your Florida home. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet and sales store directly across the street, filled with lots of name brand closeouts and sale items. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture.
And we're back, Martha.
Welcome. Okay. There's one big area that's going to affect us that I've got to tell you. With so many hurricanes forming, we're talking about especially during July and August and just going north and nothing happening, because they move so fast, the circumference, or not the circumference, the diameter of these cyclones is going to be very small, like 100 to 150 miles from one end to the other. Just like way back when we had Hurricane Andrew that was devastating to Miami, you could be an hour and a half north in Palm Beach and the sun was out and you were sunbathing.
Right.
Because that was a very tight-knit, very strong, but limited in size. And most of these hurricanes are going to be very small in diameter, like that one. Now, if you remember in 2005, we had Hurricane Wilma come up the center of the peninsula of Florida, but the entire state was under because it was 500 miles wide. It was a big fat one. So the east coast of Florida and the west coast of Florida and everything in between were affected the same way. It really ended up being not super strong because it was so big. It was Category 1 to Category 2 hurricane at the most, and not in many spots. It was more like a continuous tropical storm. But nevertheless, it was very wide. And we should not have those wide hurricanes in this season. I hope I'm not proven wrong on that, but by October, November, there's a possibility there may be a wide one, but the chances of that happening are far less than in other years. So, believe it or not, we are coming to the end of this hour. It's fairly good news for the southeast, especially Florida, but anywhere from the Carolinas north, I'm not saying you're going to be hit with a major one, but there is a possibility you'll get a stray. So on that note, be prepared, but let's all of us not be a nervous wreck just because 3, 4, 5 hurricanes are coming off the coast of Africa at the same time. Most of them, if not all of them, will be going straight north, not near any of the western shorelines. So on that note, have a great week, folks. And I promise you I will give an update around the end of May just to make sure the steering current have not changed positions. Have a great week.